Welcome to the Liminal Open Codex. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Liminal Codex. This is Anna, and we are going to be taking a look at what you need to know. And I kind of get the feeling that for some of us, we're moving into a place where we're focusing more on our own centering, our own feeling of what makes us feel stable, what makes us feel grounded. We're also taking a look at, amidst the chaos, which is what I'm getting, a dust storm kicking up, which feels like dust in the mind, a bit of illusion and confusion, which we will be kind of dealing with over the next little bit. Things will start to pick up around the end of March, but this could be a bit of a difficult time where you're trying to figure out where to place your priorities, what it is that you need to be focusing on, and just in general, what is an illusion? What did you think your life would be like, and what direction is it heading? We're getting very close to switching out the north and the south nodes. That's going to be coming up in a little bit. I love to see this for you. So we have Peridot, and again, as I mentioned, we are a collective now. This is a collective message. Focus on how this is impacting not only you, regardless of your sign, but also the people around you, because as within, so without, we're focusing on what makes us centered and stable. That has a ripple effect to everyone around us. Peridot, which is a great crystal. I work with it a lot. My good fortune is the result of my positive thoughts and actions. Now, that's not always the case. We cannot vision board and positive affirmation our way into wealth, abundance, and prosperity. There's action that does need to take place of this. But my good fortune is a result of positive thoughts and actions. Positive actions, yes, absolutely. And the positive thoughts that go along with them, not second guessing oneself, all right? It doesn't mean that I constantly wake up in the morning and say, I am abundant, I am prosperous, I am. It's a healthy connection with oneself and saying, I am capable of achieving great things. I know that if I work hard enough to achieve my goals, then they will manifest. So there are many different, I go a lot deeper into that in the Dark Feminine Path, where we talk about the science of and the mystical of and the psychology of manifestation. So definitely check that out. Let's go ahead and see. So what is it that we need to know? I do want to do a past, present, and future. So in the past, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, this is the Mystic Mouse Tarot, by the way. There's something here that you have been planning on in the past. You started putting things together, started making plans, and the Knight of Pentacles is a very slow-moving knight. It's grounded, it's stable. It's about taking things one step at a time, one day at a time. It's the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Okay, where are we at present day? Present day, where are we at? The Nine of Swords. Okay, so I'm getting that some of you are worried that your manifestation may not come to fruition, that it may not come in the form, and I will be the first to tell you, it does not always come in the form that you think it will. If you ask, say for example, I want a new job, there is the possibility that in order to make room for that new job, you have to be laid off first. And then there comes the action, positive actions, right? Of putting together your resume, of sending them out to different employers, taking the good with the bad, accepting that you may not have gotten one job, but you may get another job for a short period of time. There's a progression, I feel like. they're showing me a ladder now. Okay, so not necessarily climbing the corporate ladder, but it feels like there are different steps that you need to take in order to achieve whatever this goal is that you're planning on. And at this moment, you're a bit in suspense, is what I want to say, in suspense, in fear that this may not happen. Why the Nine of Swords? Let's see what's crossing this. The Seven of Cups. Yeah, it's daydreaming. It's did I shoot too high? Did I shoot for the stars? Did I pick the wrong option? I'm confused. Why has this not manifested for me? I planned for this. I have been saving for this. I've been taking active action in slow increments toward this, but it has not yet come. I will tell you that patience is one thing that the universe will often test us with. I don't love that word, because what we see as a test is honestly just the nature of life itself. We're not always given the answers or the manifestations that we want or need within a week, 2 weeks, even a month. For a lot of us, it takes time. And there's patience involved in waiting. Of course, I never suggest that you just sit and do nothing. You can always start preparing. It feels like you've already been doing that. But this is giving me a bit of, I've already put the intention behind this, and it hasn't shown up yet. Where is it? Where is it? Patience, grasshopper. Okay, let's see the future. Let's see the future. Potential outcome, potential future. Do note that I always say potential because we all have free will. That puts us on a different timeline. Okay. For some of you, it is a relationship. We do have the Two of Cups. This can also be about a meeting of the minds. It can be a partnership in any sense of the word. This can also be a relationship between you and your higher self. Classically, this is the representation with the caduceus. It is the staff of Hermes. That is the connection between you and your higher power, or you and your higher self. I do want to clarify why the Knight of Pentacles. I almost said the King of Pentacles. Okay. The Queen of Pentacles. You've been moving towards something that has the potential to be very, very stable. You've been nurturing this idea. So queens nurture and kings take active action, or they are the masters of their suit. The queens are responsible for nurturing that pentacle or that wand or that cup, whatever the case may be. This feels like this has been something that you've been wishing for or planning for quite some time. Why the Nine of Swords? Why the Nine of Swords? And I am going to separate these. Okay. For some of you, this is about beginning a family. We do have the Empress, all right? For some of you, I'm just going to say it. Your biological clock may be ticking, and you may be saying, am I ever going to have a family? Okay. You may be looking at options. Should I take extensive measures and go ahead and freeze something? Or should I go ahead and consider alternatives? IVF, whatever you feel drawn to. I get a very nurturing energy here, and here as well. For some of you, yeah, this has been a dream. You've been working toward this for a long time. If this is in regards to something other than children, and I don't see any pages here, so I'm not willing to say children just yet, but I feel like you've been dreaming about whatever this is for a long time. It could very well be something that is stable, that you want to. It could be a relationship in general. Why I'm hearing always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Okay. Taurus and Libran energy here in the Empress. The Seven of Cups. Why this confusion? Why this confusion? Okay. The Two of Wands. Did I make a wrong turn? Directly into... Okay, why do I always pick the thing that falls apart? Why do none of my... Yeah. Why do I always pick the wrong option? Okay. This is very broad because, I mean, this can be in regards to anything. Why do I always pick the project that doesn't have a solid foundation? Why do I always pick the guy who is unavailable? Why do I always choose a job with no room to grow and expand in? Why do I always... It feels like you're taking things a little bit more seriously now, and I want to say that with taking things slow and deliberate, this earth energy that we have here on the front end in the past, this may take time for to mature. Okay? So don't worry about this being... I feel like you're maybe even saying, did I invest in something, or did I make a decision that is going to turn out bust here with the Tower? Scorpio and Aries energy. I don't feel like you did, because I'm seeing the Two of Cups here. So what is the Two of Cups? What is the Two of Cups? The Seven of Wands. Okay. Seven of Wands and the Two of Cups. It feels like you are keeping your standards high whenever it comes to, okay, it's not very, okay. You want someone who is your equal, the Two of Cups, who is not identical to you, but who complements you. My husband and I were having this conversation the other night, and he said, I always wondered what it would be like to meet someone who was exactly like me. And I said, I think we all have that feeling at times. I want to meet my double, my twin, who thinks like me, who acts like me, who speaks like me, who has the same goals and ambitions. But my gosh, would that not be so boring? You would just be walking around all day like a robot. You want someone who is not your exact copy, but someone who complements you in a way. And I feel like you're not wanting to... I'm seeing this a bit differently. I see this as you going through options, trying to figure out which is the best option for you, that is going to complement you, that is not going to pull from your resources, from your stable foundation. Okay. This is about taking your time. This whole reading is about taking your time. In fact, underneath the bottom of the deck, we do have the Three of Wands. I am waiting on this. I'm being patient, and I am waiting on something that is balanced. The Six of Pentacles, something that I want to invest in, and that will in turn invest into me also. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and have the Three of Cups. Joy, harmony. All right. I feel like you are in this holding pattern of, I don't care how long it takes. The Page of Pentacles here. Yeah. For some of you, you're waiting on a message from someone. The Ten of Wands underneath of that. If there is a person that you do have your eye on, I will say we're in Mercury retrograde. I'm not ruling it out. And Mercury retrograde, let me go on the record as dismantling this from an astrological perspective. In terms of astrology, you have just as likely a chance of hearing back from someone during Mercury going direct, Jupiter going direct. There does not need to be a retrograde requirement for someone to hit you up from the past. Just keep that in mind. So don't be afraid of that. Even me, a thrice Mercury ruled sign, Virgo, I don't, or rarely ever see people come back from the past triggered by a Mercury retrograde. The rate at which we have Mercury retrogrades, I would be looking at oh my god, it would be like someone from that I had a crush on in kindergarten hitting me up at this point, because we have 4 or 5 Mercury retrogrades a year. If you're waiting on someone to return from the past, make damn sure that this is something that is worth nurturing. Some of you are wondering if you walked away from something or took a turn that completely shattered your, with the tower here, that completely shattered your possibilities of reconnecting with someone, but yet you still wait to hear from them. Focus on your good fortune. Focus on an attitude of gratitude at this time. Be grateful for the connection that you have to yourself. When you take care of the self, then this is, and this very well could be the Empress. When you take care of yourself, when you invest in yourself, when you prioritize your own needs and your own joy, that makes you more attractive to people on the outside. Again, as within, so without. I'm seeing a little kid, I'm seeing a little girl on the playground. I'm seeing my kid out on the playground, and how she walks up and she talks to people without fear, without hesitation, just for fun, just to see. And sometimes, yeah, kids don't want to play, and that's completely fine. And she gets disappointed. And I say, well, that's okay. There's always tomorrow. And there is always tomorrow, and there is always another option out there. Don't get so fixated on one person or one outcome that you neglect to see the possibilities here. And that very well could be what the Seven of Cups is. There are many, many options here. It does not have to mean that you took a wrong turn, everything is going to fall down around you. That could be the fear here. That's why you're fearful. It's the blockage for the Nine of Swords. This is blocking you from moving forward and developing something, because you're saying, if I choose wrong, if I make this choice, it could come crashing down around me. It very well could. But then again, it very well could not. For some of you, if this is a partnership or this is a relationship, you're keeping your guard up until, and actions speak louder than words, okay? Baffle them with bullshit, or dazzle them with brilliance. In other words, watch what they do, not what they say. For some of you, you have a bit of a fatalistic outcome, a bit of a fear. Maybe you've been looking for that right person for a very long time. It is great to have standards, and I'm not suggesting that you compromise on those standards. But what I am saying is that sometimes, in order to figure out what your standards are, you do need to sample a bit from these different cups. Okay? I'm not saying go out there and be a hoe. I'm not saying go out there and try every one of the 32 flavors at your disposal. But I am saying figure out what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you to make an informed decision on what your hard no's are, your hard lines, whenever it comes to relationships in general. If this is in regards to a relationship, and this could also be in life in general. What is it that you are willing to accept, and what is it that you are not willing to accept? Without having gone through all of the different possible scenarios, you don't have an idea of what it is that you are waiting for here, what it is that you are willing to, whether or not this is an equal exchange, and whether or not this is bringing you joy. If you have not experienced joy before, how do you know if this is something that is joyous or has the potential to bring you joy? Just a thought. I'm going to leave this here for you guys. I would love to know how and if this resonated with you in the comments down below. As always, make sure that you subscribe, that you like. And if you like any of the decks that you see here, you can find those on Etsy. And also, a more in-depth personal reading with yours truly can be found there as well. As far as the signs are concerned, I do want to go ahead and throw in Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn, as we do have the Queen of Pentacles here. We have the Empress, Taurus, and Libra. We also have the Tower, Scorpio, and Aries energy. All right, guys, that's where I will leave it. Take care, and I will see you again here soon.